Deborah Prentice, and welcome to Olsem Wanem. In this episode, we give you an insight to the life of a man who was born blind, but despite his disability, he's been living by himself for years. Like any other person, he owns a mobile phone, he has an email address, he crosses the road by himself, and he gets on a PMV bus all by himself. The question is, how does he do it? Here is the story of Jerry Hanson. Port Moresby, the capital city of Papua New Guinea, is the busiest city in the country. Every day you find cars flooding the streets, traffic jams, and people constantly moving back and forth. For those of us who are able to see, imagine being blind and the whole world goes black. Would you be able to find your own way around the city? Here is the story of a man who was born blind, but despite his disability, he's been able to move around in the city all by himself.
My name is Jerry Hanson, and I'm from the East Sepik province. I was being blind since birth till now. Well, being blind and living in a city where there is no accessibility, it's it's very, very challenging, and there is like everyday challenges, strategies or possibilities on how I overcome challenges. And some of the challenges that I face is when walking around to try and move to cope up with the ordinary or any other human being or any other people who are working, who are trying to move around and do everyday things in their life, like what they do in life. The challenges that I face is like getting on the bus, even going across pedestrian crossings where there is no even alarms and all that. Like I got on the right bus because there's the signs that I normally identified or know that I'm getting on the right bus is, by listening to the crews of the bus. And they say where they give the destination of where they are going. And then I know, this bus is going this way and this bus is going this way. And then I got on the right bus, which, right bus to go to where I want to go to. And at the same time, like, during my normal routine, like people give me numbers of bus that are going to different, routes. And then if they don't talk, and then I ask anybody around, or even someone who's beside me, that what's this bus number? And then they give the bus number. I haven't been lost. But yeah, for the actual destinations that I'm going, sometimes when I'm not confused and when my mind is distracted with other things, I sometimes go out of track and then go past where I actually want to go. But then somehow I recognize where I'm going, so I do turn back and then start, get my sense back to get to where I want to go.
Welcome back as we take you into the life of Jerry Hanson, a man who was born blind, but he is able to do almost anything. In a world filled with constant changing technology, Jerry has not fallen behind. He knows how to use a computer, surf the internet, and he even has a Facebook account.
Morning, 3 plus no na. Okay. Good morning, me go ahead.
A day in the life of a blind person is no doubt a challenging one. Jerry Hanson is visually impaired, but despite not able to see, he is very much capable of moving around all by himself. Originally from Sepik, Jerry made his way to Port Moresby through education.
I was born in, grew up in Sepik, and then been to school in Goroka. I grew up in Goroka, Chimbu, Juwaka, and then most of my life I lived in Goroka. Then after graduating from the secondary school, I came to Port Moresby to do my study in UPNG. I was studying law at the university, and I haven't completed my course just because the environment was not been disabled friendly, and also the accessibility to educations, like I did not have appropriate resources like books. A lot of textbooks were not been put into braille or were not been electronically distributed to me, and also there wasn't any special skill teacher. So that was a real barrier that or challenges which I've overcome in life. But despite all those challenges, and even despite being blind, even I make it through, almost complete my course. But I gave up. Yeah.
Despite dropping out of school, Jerry has not completely given up on everything in life.
When I started training myself how to use computer, it took me like 2 to 3 months to be familiar with all the keys, and then I was like to type things on the computer. And the most important thing that really motivated me to learn how to use computer was like I've been hearing from all my friends that they have access to internet, and even they could download information and music and other stuff, and even send emails to people, and it was it was much more faster than what we used to do, like sending letters and all that stuff. And even taking other people from the other parts of the world or in PNG, they can even respond within 5 to 10 minutes, and that's what I heard from my people, and that really motivated me to be competent in using computer.
Do you have an email address?
I do have my email address, and I do have a Facebook page, and I've got my own web page right now.
Being visually impaired, people may wonder, how do you go about accessing your email and your messages in your Facebook account? How do you do that?
Well, I just go around, and if there's a software program where it's called a JAWS program, JAWS, and JAWS, it's a program that's especially been designed for people with visual impairment, and it dictates it dictates to a person with visual impairment, and even it reads what's on the screen, and even it gives indications, and it gives directions as to like how people get into go online, and also it reads emails, and even it gives like directions to where the letters is, or even it tells us what letters that I'm typing, and then even it can read word by word, and even if there's mistakes, it could even also tell us this is a mistake, and then we go erase it and then start correcting the mistake and do it properly.
Can you please give us a small demo on how you go about using a computer?
Oh yes, of course, yeah. Like I can even go and write my name.
Okay. Welcome back as we give you an insight to the life of a man who was born blind. We find out how he differentiates time, how he uses a mobile phone, and if he has ever been conned when dealing with money.
How I differentiate time is like now, since we have the technology coming in, like I do have talking words, and even in mobile they do have talking time. So I press the mobile to hear the time. And the other thing is it depends on the climate, and then climate when like in the morning it's a bit cold, and even you can see the direction of the sun, and even the limit of the heat of the sun. And that's the same thing when it's getting dark, or when the sun is setting. It's the same thing like how I feel in the morning. And during the day that it depends on the temperature. Like the day becomes a bit hotter. And also when it gets dark, it's like depending on the sound of birds and then insects and all that. And also in the morning when it's getting like towards the daybreak, and then it's because of the cold, and also the different sounds that I used to hear from insects and birds and all that. Using mobile phone for maybe almost 12 years, and as I said, like since we've got different mobile phones, and with different shapes and different styles with so many features and all that. Like for those touchscreen phones, like it has talking programs where I download it from the internet to install it in my phone, and it helps me read text messages, and even it gives me it reads me like it gives me a sign of who actually is calling. And even when I'm going on Facebook and all that, it gives me like the direction, like what the JOS program that does to me. And for those keypad phones, like I know there is a sign which is like the number four. In number 5 there is a dot in between number 5, where that's where I put my fingers on, and then from there I know where all the numbers and all that, so I can be able to dial my phone. I can even demonstrate you an example of how I use my phone, like, yeah. So when I put my phone like this, and then I automatically know that I put my phone fingers on the actual number 5, and up here there's a dot in between the key, and then in number 5, and then I know that on my left hand side there's number 4, 5, and then 6, and then I know that like this is and then upwards like this, number 1, 2, 3, and then I know where the call button is, and the green button and the red button. I know where it is, and then the same thing applies to all the keys here. Well, I do feel the size of the money, and by feeling the edge of the money, and even the design of the money and on how it's been designed, and it has got special signs which I feel, so that I could tell this is like this and much and this is that much, and by doing so, like I can even know what the actual change that I'll be getting from people. Oh yeah, I've gone through many of that type of thing, but then I have to go back and then tell people off that this is wrong and this is not the right thing, that the right change that they are giving it to me, and this is not the right amount of money which I need that was supposed to be given to me. So yeah, many times it happens, but I'm able to tell people off and then get the right change.
Jerry Hanson was born blind, but not once has he let his disability stop him from doing anything in life. According to Jerry, of all things, our ignorance is his disability.
The rights of persons with disability and the challenges that we, persons with disability, face, every day. The government has already they have already ratified the Disability Convention, or the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability, under the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And the Disability Convention is one of the human rights treaties, and we've got 8 principles. And some of those principles talks about the actual dignity of persons with disability, and even like the actual human rights is just the same like any other human rights treaties, like the Child Rights Convention, the Convention on the Rights of CEDAW, and others. We, as persons with disability, we've got our own ways of facing challenges, especially when having access to our public services. Lack of accessibility, and even most times, especially for me, my rights are denied by the securities, and also when having access to public services like banks. Actually, some ATM machines are not designed in Braille. The post office boxes When trying to put, open the book, post office box, it has to be designed in Braille, where I have to fill actually like a Braille writing on, where it has my names. Those are the types of, those are the challenges that we face when having access to public services. Well, for myself, like how I treated this, I think I'm enough. But I want to see my fellow disabled people to be, to be empowered, and also, to be treated and respected with dignity like any other citizens here. I'm just like anybody else. And one thing that really, like put me down and really, make me, feel down is like, it's when I am ignored by people. And I say, like, my motto is like, people's ignorance or your ignorance is my disability. That's what I say, yeah.
And that's all for this episode. If you have any comments or stories you would like to share, please send us a message via the email address showing on your screen, or visit us on our Facebook page. From the Olsem Wanem team, have a pleasant viewing, and we'll see you again next week.